My mind used to feel like a prison. It was this constant churning storm of anxiety and dark thoughts I just couldn't escape. Waking up every morning felt like preparing for a battle I knew I was going to lose. I felt trapped by this version of myself that I didn't even recognize, cranky, exhausted, and living under a permanent grey cloud of dread. The smallest things felt like climbing a mountain. The future? It felt like a terrifying blank wall. I was completely convinced that this was just me, that this was my life sentence. Then, during one of those late-night doom-scrolling sessions, desperately looking for an answer, I found something. It was a 2000-year-old philosophy from people like Roman emperors and famous playwrights. I discovered Stoicism. And it wasn't about burying my emotions or acting like a stone-faced statue. It was about rewiring the way my brain processed reality. It all came down to one simple daily exercise that I'm going to share with you. This is the exercise that changed everything for me, and I honestly believe it can do the same for you. Before we dive into the exercise, you need to get the powerful idea behind it. The Stoics called it the dichotomy of control, and it's the master key to freeing yourself from that mental prison of anxiety. It all boils down to one simple question you have to ask yourself whenever you feel that wave of stress coming on. Is this something I can control or something I can't? That's it. I know it sounds almost too simple, but once you really let it sink in, it's a game changer. The Stoics believed that most of our misery, our anxiety, our anger, our sadness comes from mixing up those two categories. We burn a massive amount of energy trying to control things we have zero power over. What other people think of us, how bad traffic will be, whether it's going to rain on vacation, or a mistake we made years ago. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, now known as Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't just some nice-sounding quote, it's a direct diagnosis of our modern problem. We are overwhelmed because our focus is all over the place. We're trying to control the uncontrollable, and it's breaking us. On the flip side, the things we actually have full control over, we tend to ignore. This list is smaller but way more powerful. Our own beliefs, our judgments, our choices, our actions, and the effort we decide to put in. Think about that for a second. Your real power isn't in the world outside, it's in the world inside. Your strength isn't in changing what happens, but in changing how you respond to what happens. As the philosopher Epictetus put it, it is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Once you truly get this, everything shifts. The goal is no longer to force the world to bend to your will, which is impossible and exhausting. The goal is to master your own mind, which is tough, but totally possible. And that's where the daily exercise comes in. It's a tool to turn this philosophy from an idea you know into something you actually do. I call this the Stoic ledger. It's a dead simple journaling habit that takes at most 10 minutes a day, but it forces you to practice the dichotomy of control and retrain your brain, one thought at a time. Interestingly, modern psychology has a method that shares some core principles with these ancient ideas. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Research has shown that practicing Stoic-based exercises can reduce rumination and increase resilience in people prone to anxiety and depression. In a way, you're becoming your own therapist. Here's how it works. Every evening, or whenever you feel that anxiety creeping in, grab a notebook or open a new doc and make 2 columns. On the left, write, "Outside my control." On the right, write, "Within my control." Now think about what made you anxious or sad today. What's worrying you right now? Just dump it all out, but put each thought in the correct column. Let's use an example. Say you had a rough day at work and you're worried about potential layoffs. In the outside my control column, you might write, "The final decision the company makes, the state of the economy, my boss's mood, or what they secretly think of me. Whether my co-worker gets that promotion I was hoping for. These are the thoughts that fuel anxiety because you can't do anything about them. Worrying about them is like yelling at the ocean to be quiet, pointless and exhausting." Now let's turn to the within my control column. This is where your power is. For the same situation, you could write, "The quality of the work I do tomorrow, spending 30 minutes tonight updating my resume, sending a message to a few contacts in my network. The attitude I choose to have when I walk in the office, not getting sucked into office gossip about the layoffs, how I treat my family when I get home instead of dumping my stress on them." Can you feel that? The first column is a list of fears. The second is a list of actions. It shifts you from being a passive victim of your worries to an active participant in your own life. The Stoics taught that peace comes from pouring your energy exclusively into that second column. The last and most important step is to look at the left column. Take a deep breath and consciously let it go. Mentally release your grip. Then look at the right column and pick just one small thing you can do right now, or first thing in the morning. Doing this every day starts to work some real magic. Your brain gets trained to automatically sort things into these two buckets in real time. That background noise of anxiety starts to quiet down because you're systematically disarming it, one worry at a time. Once the Stoic ledger becomes a habit, you can start adding a few other Stoic power tools to build even more resilience. First up is negative visualization, or as the Stoics called it, premeditatio malorum, premeditating on bad stuff. Okay, that sounds awful, especially for an anxious mind, but hear me out. The philosopher Seneca advised that we should regularly imagine losing the things we care about, our job, our home, our health, even the people we love. Why on earth would you do that? It's not about making yourself miserable. It does two things. First, it acts like a vaccine against the shock of loss. If you've already considered the possibility of misfortune, you won't be as rattled if it actually happens. But more importantly, it makes you incredibly grateful for what you have right now. When you open your eyes and your loved one is still there, your health is fine. And you have a roof over your head, you feel this profound wave of gratitude. It flips your focus from fearing what you might lose to appreciating what you currently have. The second tool is shifting your perspective. Marcus Aurelius used to practice what's called the view from above. He'd imagine floating up above Rome, watching all the people scurrying around with their tiny dramas and worries. Then he'd float higher, seeing all of Italy, then Europe, then the whole earth as just a small spinning marble in space. From up there, how big are your problems really? This isn't to say your problems aren't valid, but it puts them in context. It shrinks your anxiety down to a manageable size. Finally, there's the Stoic focus on action and virtue. The Stoics believed philosophy wasn't for clever debates, it was for living a good life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." When you feel that pull of depression or the paralysis of anxiety, sometimes the best antidote is just a simple, positive action. Go for a walk, do that one task you've been putting off. Help someone else. Action is the enemy of rumination. It breaks the cycle by grounding you in the present and reminding you that you are in control of yourself. Before I started using these tools, my mind was totally reactive. A rude email, a snide comment, or bad news could throw off my whole day, maybe even my whole week. I was just being tossed around by whatever life decided to throw at me. After practicing these Stoic exercises consistently, the change wasn't like a lightning bolt, but it was deep. The storms didn't just vanish. Life will always have storms, but I had finally built a lighthouse inside my own mind. I learned that I could be the calm, steady operator of that lighthouse, no matter how hard the wind and waves were crashing outside. I started to see challenges not as threats, but as chances to practice being a better person. A tough conversation was a chance to practice patience. A setback at work was a chance to practice resilience. As Seneca wrote, adversity doesn't just build character, it reveals it. I realized that my happiness didn't depend on getting everything I wanted, but on wanting what I had and acting with integrity, no matter what happened. The quality of your thoughts really does determine the quality of your life. I know what it's like to feel trapped in your own head. I know how exhausting it is to fight a battle no one else can even see. But I also know for a fact that you have the power to change this. You don't have to be a prisoner of your own thoughts. It should be noted, however, that while these practices are powerful, they are not a substitute for professional mental health treatment in severe cases. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 7 days, just commit to practicing the Stoic ledger. That's it. 7 days. Every evening, spend 10 minutes separating what was outside your control from what was within it, and put your energy only into that second column. If you're ready to take back your mind and commit to this challenge, write "I am ready" in the comments below. It's a small act, but it's a declaration to yourself that you're done living this way. This journey isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about building a mind so strong, so resilient that it can handle anything. It's about realizing the peace you're looking for isn't somewhere out there, waiting to be found. It's right here inside you, waiting to be built. You have power over your mind. Realize this, and you will find strength. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content, and thanks for watching.